Hi guys, this is Sai Kumar Kortiwada. In this video, we will learn about reactive forms part 18 where we are implementing our address management system, and this is a part 2 of address management system where we will be trying to bind our reactive form with our HTML content. In my previous video, I have explained how to create a form group and a form control and a form arrays together, and also a independent HTML content. In this video, we will try to bind both of them. Let me quickly jump into Visual Studio Code. Here this is my HTML content which I have created, and here I have created a form which is relevant to our API payload. And in this video we will learn how to bind this particular register address and the email name and arrays and also form controls to our HTML content. What I'll do is just I'll create a form group for the first element, that is a form with form group. Let me use form group, and for this we have a form group name called as register address. Inside this register address I have a name form control. So where is my name input field? This is my name input field, and we can use something called as form control name. Already we discussed about the form controls in our previous video. Please watch for better understanding. And let me copy this form control name and paste here, and the second form control is email. Let me copy this email and pass this email. But now the problem here is we have addresses. Addresses is a form array. So to go into this form array, we need to target for this addresses first. So now what I'll do, just here we have a div and here also we have a div. So this div indicates the array of elements where we are using the city name, state name, and street name, and also landmark. Now what I want to do, just I want to add my form array name. That means here from this division my form array name will be instantiated. And why we are not giving the property binding? Because we are using a string value, not the dynamic value. Here we have created our form array name. Now inside this form array we have a array of groups. That means whenever I am inserting one value into this form array, a group will be created. So now I want to create a group. Before that, this is a form array, so just I want to loop this form array. How can we loop this form array? So for that sake, let me create ng hyphen container, and inside this container we will be using all this whole division. Let me format this. Here star ngFor, we have discussed about the ngFor in our Angular tutorial video. I'll provide the link in the description. Please watch. Let control, I'm getting the control of what is my control name, the addresses, but this addresses you need to get it from register address. So let me get this from register address dot get of addresses, because this is a dynamic value. So now I'm getting from addresses, and it should be looped. So whenever if you want to loop it, you have to get the controls dot controls. And let me save this. If you see here, we got an error. Object is possibly null. Why? Because these controls may be undefined or may not be undefined based on the array, because array is something like a list of content, and also the get is always referring to a control. That means and for either a form group, either a form control or form array. We are not telling that it is a form array. So for that sake, what we can do is we can typecast this. So for typecasting this, let me go to our TypeScript and create a getter function. Get, and this is my getter function. Inside this getter function, what I can write, I want to get addresses array. So addresses as form array. This is a name which I want to give, and what is the return type for this? It should return a form array. Now how we can typecast it? Already we have discussed in the form array how to typecast this form arrays in my previous video. I'll provide the link in the description. And here this dot register address dot get of, I will be getting this addresses, and what we can do, we can use alias name like as, so it will typecast into form array. And this is how we can get our form array. And let me use this addresses as form array inside my ts dot controls. Save this and also save this. Let me check. Yeah, compiled successfully. Now we can loop this address, but whenever we are looping, addresses is our array, and inside this array each and every index points to one group. So now let me create that index. Let I equal to index. Our I indicates the form group. So now inside this, what I want to do, just I want to write the index value here, where which address it is pointing to. And also let me create one div, and let's wrap all the input fields inside the div. Let me format, and now this div indicates a form group, and now the form group is dynamic. It is not static because the form group is equivalent to our index value. So index value varies, hence my form group name also varies. Form group name is equal to I. That means the index value of this form group. Now inside this form group, I have ID, city name, state name, street name, and landmark. That means we have all the individual controls. Already we have created our input fields. Just we need to map with our form control name, and form control names are not dynamic, hence we don't want to use property binding. Let me use city name, copy this and paste here. Let me write the same form control name for every field, and let's change the names of the form controls as per the object which is created in the reactive forms. So state name and street name, and last one landmark. Let me copy this landmark and paste here. Let me save this. Now everything was successfully compiled, and whenever we click this submit, we are using a type submit. Let me write one submit event, ng submit. Whenever it is submitted, I want to call one method like submit, and inside this submit, let me write console.log of this dot register addresses dot value. So this should hold all the values which we are entering inside our HTML. Let me copy this and paste here with parentheses. Let me save this. So as we are giving this button as submit, and inside the form this will be calling this ngSubmit event whenever I click this button, and we are rendering or we are consoling the values which are entered in this particular format, and that format should be displayed in the response as this object. So let me go back and clear it off. Let me reload for our sake, and let me remove all these values and submit. Yeah. So now let me give Sai Kumar, sai@gmail.com, and you can see the index value. That means this is the first index where address details are shown. And let me give the city name. Now city name is Hyderabad, and state name something like Telangana, street name Boduppal, landmark Chengicherla, something like this. And let me click on submit. You can see the name, email, and addresses. Inside the address you got ID, which is not inside this element, but we have hard coded that value. And also we found the city name which was entered here, and we have entered Chengichella as a landmark here we got, and state name Telangana, Boduppal as street name. So this was inside an array. If you see this object is equivalent to the object which we have framed here. If you see this, that is same as it is of this object. That means just we are not transforming any of the data once the form is submitted. We have created our form to create such data without any transformations. So this is one of the advantage of reactive forms, where you will be creating the original format and no need to transform any data before you send the data to the backend. In our upcoming videos, we will learn about how to validate these forms, and how to add a particular address or a new address into this addresses array, and also how to delete that addresses from the array. That completes our address management system. In our next video, we will be seeing how to add these addresses into our array dynamically on clicking on some buttons. Hope you like my explanation. If you like my video, like, share, subscribe to my channel for more updates. Signing off. Thank you.